What's going on, everybody? Toby here coming at you. You saw my previous ad for the Viking bags review. Well, here it is. We got the bag the other day, or yesterday, in the mail, and I will explain some confusion with it. We're going to go over the bag itself. Yes, I said we, and hopefully you caught that. A special guest here with me today, and we're going to go over the bag and show you both on the bike and going side by side with the bag itself and some other stuff. So stay tuned, check this out. All right, y'all, so here it is. This is the Viking bag that was sent to me. It's their Viking large Sissybar bag is what they call it. Funny thing is, they told me they were sending me what they called you'll see it here, I showed you the screenshot, the Dwarf Sissybar Bag. I don't know what the difference, I'm sure it's just size, whatever. But anyway, so they sent me the large bag. Ironically though, it's awesomely appropriate because it turns out that I've seen this bag before. But more of that in a minute. So I'm joined by my better half, Kylie. Thank you, Mrs. Northern, for joining me on this. And the frustration of this, guys, is we already did this once, but content creator nightmares aside, we're going to get into this. So it turns out Kylie has a Viking bag. We didn't know this, or I didn't know this at the time this was all going down. So where's your bag? I got mine. Where's yours? So,
does this look familiar?
Yeah, very, very similar, right? Go ahead, Kai.
That's my dork. I got this bag in April of 2018, and it has been to Sturgis 3 times. It has been on the world record poker run, which was over 3,500 miles. It has been from Kentucky through Canada to the top of Maine and back, and then to Milwaukee and back within 3 weeks. It's been pretty much through hell and back.
This bag right here, not that one. That bag ain't been nowhere except in a box.
This bag was an accident. I ordered a handlebar bag for my old Road King, and they sent me this. And when I called customer service, they told me to keep it. And I was like, okay, well, whatever. I was a new rider back then, and I didn't have a luggage bag yet. It worked out for me. So it turns out that this bag is just the latest version of that bag.
As you can see, they are basically constructed the same way, right? This thing has zippers on both sides of the bag that you can do for expansion. It will add, and we'll cover this. The main entrance, the main compartment is right here, and then it's got the 2 pockets here, just like that one does. And she's going to tell you some changes she really likes.
First difference that I've noticed, it's very obvious, is the handle. This basic strap is on most pieces of motorcycle luggage that we have. Doesn't matter what brand. That's just basic. They've added this hand grip on this one, which makes it much more comfortable, and they've got a big gap to stick your hand in there instead of trying to wedge it in there. That is a major improvement. The pockets on the old one are leather, and they're very rigid. From the time I got it, even till now, no matter how many times I've opened and closed them, this flap is very, rigid. There's a clip underneath of it, just like the clip on here. So you would release that to open the top. And this one is very easy. And the part in front is the same. That one has a lot of pockets inside of it, but it doesn't make much of a difference because this is so firm and so rigid, it's hard to put stuff in there.
I was like, these pockets that are in here that you can see now are not flexible. They're very rigid as far as their design. It's not like their elasticity is good. So, I mean, these are kind of like, me personally, I'm like, why have pockets, right? Because why have pockets like these? Because these are more pockets you'd see in a wallet, like with credit cards, and there's no flexibility to them. So there's really not much besides, other than coins maybe, or if you knickknacks, earplugs, or whatever that you can really put in those. So with the new one, it doesn't have any pockets. It's just the main this main pocket itself, and I like that. I think that's good. You're getting these out of the way so they're not getting caught in anything you put in there. So that's cool.
Construction of them is basically the same. The elastic part is the same. The other thing that makes these different is that buckle on the front. This strap on it. So go ahead and hook it back together, please.
Buckle it up, and then
there's this slot to put this through. You can see this bag is really old, and the leather has basically cracked apart by trying to fit it right back in that slot. So it's not flapping around like these are right now.
And it seems like this is more of an aesthetic thing, you know?
It is.
You're covering it, or just to continue the look of the belt buckle type of deal. So, you know, whatever. It's not for most of you, it's probably not a pro or a con type of thing. Deal breaker for a bag unless you're comparing it to something that doesn't have this, and that segues to
I think at the time it was just an aesthetic choice. Like
but the newer version doesn't have it.
The newer version doesn't, because even the side pockets on this one are exactly the same and very sturdy, or very firm, very stiff. This pocket is major. Oh well, the sides and this pocket are major differences from these. Again, no pockets, but this one opens wider than any of the other pockets, and you know, if you didn't have a ton of stuff in the bag,
well, that might be.
This is more for.
That seems like a shoe compartment, right? Like
no, you couldn't put a shoe in there. That's firm.
Okay.
That's firm. I would think more like documents or gum, you know, like stuff that I don't know. You don't want to leave in your saddlebag. I don't know. You could probably put wallet, other things in there, but it's not.
Pocket. It's not. It doesn't have any expansion. It doesn't have any flexibility beyond what you see there.
But unbuckle that, please. When you open this, there's not a whole lot. Like we're pulling pretty hard. It is, but we're having to pull pretty hard to get that out that way. So when it's just me, this is my bag.
Yeah.
I put my do-rags in these pockets. The outside pockets I really don't use for a whole lot. But I have plenty of room on the inside, and the bag that ends up sitting on top, that I don't really have to use these pockets for much. But I like the difference that I don't have the flap on the bottom one, and I like that the buckles are gone. And then side pockets. These pockets are really interesting because this zipper doesn't open the pocket. It expands, and there's another zipper to open the pocket inside.
So not only can you expand these sides of the main compartment bag, and we'll show you that in just a second, because you can do it on both these bags. Not only can you expand the pocket of the main compartment, but you can also expand the pockets, the side pockets on both sides of this. So
yeah.
Maybe if you're carrying a drink or something, like a big old giant, what do they call those? The bottles they have. You know, the big old drink bottle, whatever you have. If you have a large one versus a small one, this might be able to accommodate that, or other things, whatever.
Well, also,
you can throw some tennis shoes on either side.
I was about to say a pair of flip-flops.
Yeah, shower shoes.
So you can see, zipping it back up, it's wider. But when you zip this one, it compresses it.
So I think that's a big step up. I think that's an upgrade to the previous version.
They're much easier to get into.
Yeah, you got the buckle piece, and it's just a pull-out pouch again, like the other two over here, and that's it. There's no. You're counting on the flap coming down and keeping things secured inside. Whatever you put in there, you're keeping it secured inside with that, and you're dealing with this buckle again, old traditional version. Not waterproof, not windproof per se, but it still will keep stuff in there. But I think that is a great upgrade and change from the older style. And again, this is 6 years old, roughly, right? You got
older, 18, 17, 20, 7 years in April.
From when?
19. April 2018.
To 24 is 6.
So 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Get 6.
So the 6 year difference, and she used the better one at math for us. but always get me. So
the years always throw me off.
Yeah, of
There's
course.
always another year.
Right. We don't count the years, we count the miles. But like we say, 6 years difference in upgrades and advancements and changes in their product. I think they did good with this so far.
So this mesh pocket I don't have on my old one. I've never been 100% sure about what this kind of strap is for. I've had it on other bags, but maybe somebody out there can let us know what they use it for. Okay, but this is the same on the other side. And
show the expansion on the sides in the main compartment.
Sure, we'll get there. This pocket right here on the top is where you would typically find your rain cover. They're not in there right now because there is a piece that sits on top of these bags that clip to these clips, that when you're storing it, it's easier just to put it on the inside, and when you have it in there, it's difficult to close this when the rain cover is in that pocket. So the rain cover is inside of the other piece in both of these bags. So we'll unzip the sides and show the expansion, which will be even more evident when I open the front and push it outward.
While she's doing that, I will say, just like this predecessor, if you guys have been to any motorcycle store, any motorcycle place that sells Sissybar bags or any kind of gear for tour packs or passenger seats, whatever, the material is very, very sturdy. It's like, and I don't know what you call it, Nomex or whatever they call it, but they're lined with some very solid material, very solid, very strong and sturdy surfaces. I mean, this would, if it were to fall off your bike, it's not going to rip and shred apart, and it's not going to blow up, it's not going to explode. It won't, like, even if it hits the ground and gets drugged, this will withstand being drugged for, you know, a little while. If you were to catch it and realize, hey, crap, it fell off the back, it's sturdy enough to survive a fall and being drugged around. So
on the inside, you have two mesh pockets, one on either side. This mesh pouch I like to use for shoes. Sometimes I'll put my dirty clothes in there to keep it separate from the other ones. And that's pretty much all the features for the inside. The zipper is kind of, there's really not much of a purpose for the average Joe. I think if it was for repairing the hard surface on the inside, in case that got damaged or something, but there's nothing back there. Not like a regular suitcase where you go in there and fix your wheels or the handle, which I've done. But
it's funny, when we were doing this the first time, and we'll tell you the same thing here. We unzipped this whole thing. The inside shell is not removable. It's like sewn in, actually, or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's not like, I was thinking maybe you could remove it to wash it or wash the bag once it's been off a long road trip or something. But like I said, the shell inside is not removable, that I can tell. So, and Kylie said before, put in the comments if anybody knows why there's a zipper in here. I mean, unless you're a mule or a runner or something that's trying to take stuff across borders and state lines, which that's your business. I don't understand the purpose of having a zipper inside of there just for the sake of having a zipper. Put in the comments below if you know what that zipper's for or what that's for. I mean, maybe it's to take it out and just store stuff, like we said, stuff that you want to keep hidden, documents or whatever.
Yeah, maybe to keep your documents flat. It could also be their way of saying, hey, this was the best way to stitch this up.
Viking, if you know for why you put that zipper in there, put in the comments below.
I mean, I don't think that's going to change your opinion of the bag and the functionality of it. It's just a useless zipper. It doesn't really hurt the usage of it. It doesn't get in the way of anything. You can see the difference if you turn that straight on. And you get probably, what, 3 more inches almost?
Well, again, this is
two and a half.
Too, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Oh.
It's like 2.5 inches extra on each side. Kind of makes it hang off your luggage rack just a little bit, but because the way it's mounted, you really don't feel the difference.
One thing we also will point out about this this wouldn't be in a normal review. I say this because we were lucky to already have this previous one, but 2 big points on this were that we noticed are the zipper types, the zipper design is one big change in these. They're not bad, because like she said, she's had this for 6 years, and it's been through multiple states and multiple weather conditions, and these zippers are still going strong. Just like the clasps and the buckles here, right? The male-female clasps. But they've changed them to where they are
like a rubber grip.
Like a rubberized grip that it fully encases the zipper. So it's not coming off the zipper, at least not that we can tell.
It goes through the center of the zipper.
Right.
So yeah, that's not slipping off.
And as you can see here, the buckle, and I know you're far away, and I'll try to zoom this in as best as I can at this point, but these buckles, the male end on the new one is much beefier, much more robust looking, and just the design is definitely, it looks like it's improved. I can't say 100% because we haven't ridden with it yet, but it looks and feels much beefier, much sturdier, much more robust, whatever, same words used again, in its design. And the female ends are the same way.
They're on that.
So,
what I find interesting though is on this one there's like this U-shape clamp, if you will, within. That's,
you talk about this piece right here.
Yeah, that's keeping its form. It's pushing it outward. This one doesn't have that, so I'll be curious to see how this holds up, or if this will eventually stop pushing outward and holding on as well.
Because like she said, that U is keeping the hooks together. It's keeping.
No, it's pushing them.
We don't know if it's keeping the form of the male end of the connector or not, or if it's just there as part of the design. To me, as she said earlier, it looks like it helps to keep the front piece here in its form and maintaining its ability to connect into that female end.
To snap. Yeah.
So whether this, like she said, we don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah, because I'll probably use both of them on every road trip. Okay, so before we move to the back and how you put it on, this piece here, I'll leave that stuff in for now.
We found out that, of course, just like this one, it came in the box with this inside of here, like you just saw her pull it out. The rain cover and the other straps are inside of this. So again, good packing job.
In this position, I would have the rain cover in here unless it was on top of it, obviously. So in order to see the female end of the clamp, you just pull this Velcro piece back. And you don't have to. You could just, slip that one up in there.
That's what I always used to do.
Clip it.
I didn't know that hook and loop fastener was there.
So I tightened these after the end of the other video. So you clip them and then tighten it to wherever you want it to be. I've had issues with these straps as far as because I don't like them flapping in the wind. I haven't had any issues with fraying on any of my straps on this bag. But it's just a pet peeve of mine. I don't like things flapping in the wind. So
a note for Viking bags is, as part of this review, Viking bags, I will tell you, I recommend you developing other bags. Other companies have them, but it's like a cloth elastic band that goes around the main strap that you can either S-roll or roll up the remaining strap into that band. It's just a retainer band is what it is. The elastic retainer band. It's kind of like a cloth rubber band. And I would recommend you all adding that to the main piece of the strap. That way it can slide up and down, and then the user can do that, and then they can wrap up the leftover. So it's not like she said, that's a pet peeve for most bikers, that having stuff flap like that and go crazy, and it's like a flag. The more it flaps, the risk is going frayed, which your straps prove it over 6 years they have it, but that doesn't mean they're not vulnerable to that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So the other option, aside from using zip ties and tape and rubber bands, is to you can fold this up under here, and that might be the purpose of why they designed this way. and that will generally hold it in place. When attaching this to the main bag, I'll use the same analogy that I used earlier. It's like when putting your lug nuts back on, when you're putting a tire on, don't yank them all at one time to the tightest position, like he just tried. And don't close that yet, because I'm going to flap that up in there. You booger. Okay, so just gently tug in alternating sides.
And this part's recommendation. Everybody has their own method to their madness, guys. But this is just like when you're putting on a derby cover, when you're putting the derby cover or the primary cover back on the bike, right? They tell you don't screw them in circular fashion or, you know, clockwise, counterclockwise. Alternate across from them in a star pattern. So same thing here. Don't pull down and cinch down one side specifically all tight at one time. Work it around. That's our recommendation for packing habits.
Okay. So the other thing I noticed earlier that's kind of annoying to me is that they made that upgrade on the handle, on the main part of the bag. I carry the bag like this.
She'll pull it right off the
every time. That's how I get it off and the bike, and that's how I carry it, whether I'm just moving it to a luggage cart or unless I have the backpack straps on, this is how I'll carry it.
That's how, bottom line, that's how she takes it off of the sissy bar from the bike, and it's how she puts it back on every time. It's when you've got this on there as part of it and you didn't leave it at home, it's the easiest way to do it, so you're not having to create two items to carry around versus just one.
Okay, so at this point,
the argument was, or the recommendation to you Viking bags was, make a handle for the top just like you did the bottom. The main bag handle is badass. It's awesome. Great
Love
job.
that grip.
But it needs to be up here too.
Yeah. Just you're like you turned away and it was falling. Okay, so that's pretty much. Oh, when the sides are expanded, you'll notice when you have this nice and snug down, they'll be sticking up, and this kind of making the top sink in a little bit. It hasn't harmed my bag. Almost 6 years later, it still, you know, holds its form pretty well. And depending on how tight you make this and how full or empty it is, this will deform a little bit, but it pretty much bounces right back.
This, however you do it, just beware of that.
And generally when I'm packing my bike, whatever side of the bike I get off on is the side. What you doing?
Why
you gotta mess with stuff?
The ring was tucked in, but the ring was folded in, and it was annoying me. So.
Annoying. Things are annoying. Yeah, got it. So anyway, the bag that sits on top has one opening. It doesn't open on both sides. So the side that opens is the side that I will generally put out on the side that I get off the bike. So generally it'll be on this side for me, but I put it on backwards, in my opinion. It's a little difficult to unzip it if you have it zipped all the way and it's locked tight down onto the other bag because the zipper can be tucked in. But so
what you're saying is when it's fully packed and you're on the road or whatever and you pull off, if you need to get something out of the side or in here, am I understanding that because of the packing the way it is, it could sink down if it's expanded? Does it make it harder to get to the zipper around? Is that what you're talking about?
Oh, you know what? That's a good point. But I'm talking about this opening up here. I wasn't trying to make it pretty earlier. Okay. So when this is zipped closed, right now I can get to it because I've unzipped it and then zipped it back while it's in this position. But when you put it on, if this is tucked underneath when you put it on, you're gonna have a bitch of a time getting to it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just gonna flip out of there. You're gonna have to pull it the way I just did.
This is not necessarily a Viking bag. This is not necessarily a design flaw.
No.
It's just a piece that if somebody's going to buy the bag, they'll, you know, every biker knows if you're packing stuff up, sometimes structure of the bag will collapse, shift, whatever, and zippers have to, they'll have to be mindful of adjusting their zipper pulls or whatever. It's part of it.
Well, and talking about that just reminded me of something I didn't think about when we recorded earlier.
You hear that? And see, when you see us nod, yeah, we talked about this earlier.
Yeah. So depending on the position these zippers are in, when you put this on, you won't be able to open this. Because obviously if they're closed all the way and you have them up here, they'll be trapped underneath. Even if you have them to the side, you're not going to be able to pull this zipper over here. You'll only be able to open it down to the side. And you can get your hand in there for stuff, but you know,
so it's
just be aware that you may not.
It can be a good design piece for the bag and for the manufacturer, for the biker themselves, to know that you have the option of zipping it up and securing it when it's tied down. If you keep the zippers down, when you're on the road, you can actually access stuff easier. If it's not raining, you can have the cover on.
Well, and you can also see that there's a hole for putting a small lock on there if you so choose. But as I just said, if you have this piece on, it's a lot more difficult for people to even find the damn zipper. So it's like they're not going to mess with it for the most part. So we'll talk about the back now. And here we go. If I had been paying more attention, I would have just tucked this under here. But now I got this on kind of snug. I'm just going to leave it where it's at. But so I was talking about backpack straps earlier. This attaches to this hook right here. And it spins, so you're not going to get all tangled up. The ones that hook on the bottom also spin.
What she's talking about, y'all, is, I'll zoom in on this as well, but this hook itself on the strap, which these are just extension straps for extra security on the bag, and then this is a shoulder strap. If you're going to strap it there and just carry, like, you can carry the whole unit over your shoulder like a duffel bag. But the hooks themselves, and I'm putting my hand here so that the camera focuses on it, but the hook itself swivels around. It's not on a fixed way, one way or the other, which is a bonus and a positive on it. It gives you more flexibility to be versatile with it.
Just a note on the shoulder strap. The instructions only show this piece being carried with that. I think if you tried to carry the whole doggone thing on these clips, with the way I pack them, I mean, maybe. Yeah. And maybe I didn't see that on the instructions, but there are clips like this on the top of the bag. So
bottom line is, if you order the bag, where you hook it, here, or anywhere else on the bag, that's your choice.
It's up to you.
That shoulder strap piece gives you an option for whatever you're carrying of this assembly. So
yeah, I just would be a little concerned about how heavy I pack, and this strap and these clips being, I mean, those clips are on the backpack piece are very sturdy, so I don't have a problem at all. But so then you have the other clips, and you'll see right here's one, and over here's the other, and sometimes I will put the bag on my sissy bar with this on. Flapping in the wind. Rubber bands, tape, zip ties. So up here, Viking, this is actually really great, having this as an option to tuck the straps away. But you don't have that option here. And again, if I wanted to leave it on my bike, which I do sometimes, on mine, I actually have them tied in knots because the tape blew away.
So, Viking, the user has to figure out what they're going to do with the excess strap material, whether they want to S-roll it or circle it up, whatever. But again, that's where that band we were talking about, the elastic band, would be nice to have.
Or some option. If you can come up with something better than the elastic band, because we've seen them wear and become lose elasticity. Can't talk. It's okay.
You've got extra extension straps here.
It's like they start to look like this.
Along with these, you could throw in some hook and loop or Velcro style straps that could be, and just make sure they're, it says in the instructions if that's what they're for. to go around all of the excess straps themselves for tie down measures.
So sometimes when I'm, been on the road for a long time, I get off my bike and I'm too tired. I do not want to put this on the ground because I just may not have the energy to pick it back up depending on how heavy it is. So sometimes, like I said, I'll leave this on. It's because it's really convenient. I wiggle this off of my backrest and I tuck my arm under here, and then I'll just carry it into the hotel or home just like that.
Yep, very easy.
It is extremely convenient. So let me take this off so I can show better. So how this was different the first time we did this.
So the Sissybar piece here that you wrap in, some of you, the experienced people will know what I'm talking about, but it's a bar system, and the intention is when you have different size sissy bars, different heights, whatever, some of them have pads on the back for the passenger, some of them do not, and all those pads, if they do have them, are different sizes. So these bars are adjustable, as you see her doing, and they enable the rider to slide the entire sissy bar into the main piece here and on that one, and then once you've got it around the sissy bar, she puts the bars themselves in or out to adjust for thickness to further secure,
to make it bigger or smaller.
To make it bigger or smaller, to better secure it on the sissy bar itself.
As you can see, mine isn't completely open. I just have my bars underneath the way this was before I changed it back, because my rider backrest or passenger backrest is so wide that I have to actually wiggle this thing down onto it.
We'll get to that. We'll
show you that soon. Yeah. So being in this position is going to be very unlikely.
Yeah,
and that's in the smallest position. So, well, not even the smallest, because there is another loop right there.
But this goes back to what we said, guys, is that if you look on websites, there's many manufacturers out there that do sissy bars, and none of those sissy bars in some cases are meant to even have passenger backrests on them.
Yeah.
They just have the sissy bar. And many of them are different widths, right? So that's what that's for, so you can adjust this padding, the piece that secures, for the width of your sissy bar, or within relative enough to make it secure.
Like the one you had custom made with parachute?
Yep.
There's no backrest on that,
right.
So this would probably be the position. But so, up in here, there are four loops that you want to make sure that the bar is inside one of them, otherwise it can just slide back and forth freely.
And then waste time doing it.
Mm-hmm. It wouldn't secure it in any way. So there are
four here, three
there's
there?
4 loops up here and 3 down here, but these are wider.
Yeah.
So you could actually have it at an angle.
Okay.
Because even
That's
like the sissy bar you had made, it comes down at an angle. So the only thing that has gone wrong with my bag, and it's not Viking's fault at all, it's my own, is this flap right here. And I've sewn it back, hand sewn, and it's pretty sturdy. It's kind of...
The stitching is kind of fraying or giving way from 6 years of over thousands of miles of use, and she sewed some of it to repair or to maintain.
Well, I mean, as you can see, this is loose too. It's just because the Velcro piece only attaches on either side.
Right.
Here and here, and it moves freely above those 4 loops that we were just talking about.
Again, guys, we're not knocking. This is not knocking on Viking.
No.
We all know this. When you ride thousands of miles through tons of different types of weather environments and everything else, you're putting wear and tear on these bags. Tons of it. Bags are taken off and put back on bikes numerous times over the course of a single trip. Right? So numerous trips over numerous years, 6 years, and this is the only fraying really of the stitching. So this speaks well for Viking in their product quality.
And when we're putting it on the bike, I will demonstrate why that stitching has come loose.
Yeah.
So that you can completely understand that it is not a manufacturer defect. There might be something that they can think of in the design to change the design a little bit so that that's less likely to happen, but this little black cap keeps popping out of this one, and it's starting to piss me off. I'm gonna flip it over.
And that's the funny thing, because the same rod, same style rod is in this one, and they never popped off on her that we can recall, that I know of, in her entire use of the old ones. So maybe it's just somebody in the production line forgot to put the glue on that particular one on that side on that day.
I put them in this position ever since I started using it, and they have never moved from that position. Since earlier, when we started doing this review, those have been moved at least 4 times. So
it popped off the first time.
Yeah, it did. But so anyway, I'll demonstrate why that has been worn. But obviously, I hand sewn that, and it's been working fine. And
she's not looking for a seamstress job, guys.
Hell no. One thing that I want to mention that I didn't mention before. This is annoying.
We'll cut that off.
No, I mean, I didn't.
I'm not sure why.
Why it wouldn't be on the inside.
If you look on this one, the old one, there is no sign
of
any tag that's been there that was ripped off or cut off or anything.
Yeah.
And there's not even one on the inside. So I don't know. Viking bag, it's nothing big. It's just, why put it there? Why not put it on the inside unless there's some like international requirement for you to have it on there, or when they made it in China, tell them, hey, put it on the outside, put it on the inside.
I mean, this one is just an inspection, signing off on it. This is your barcode, but it's also got your part number on it.
Maybe they expect you just to rip the thing off anyway. But
so one thing you might have noticed in all this talking, they were proud of this bag. I don't think they were proud of that one. But the last thing I want to mention before we go out into the garage is the rain cover for the bag, because obviously it's not waterproof. Can you get my rain cover out of that one? So this new one, it feels really nice, because it's brand new and it's never been rained on, and it's never been in the wind, and it's never had to deal with any of that garbage. Going on 6 years and all the thousands and thousands of miles, this one doesn't have any like huge tears in it, and I gotta find them. It's got some tiny little holes, and for the most part, so there's one there. I mean, these are itty bitty, and then one there and one there, and there's probably some others. You see those? There's probably a few others somewhere else, but I could spend all day going looking for them.
We all know this comes from wear and tear. It's the life. Yeah. It's like paint getting scratched on your bike when you're on the road by rocks and chips.
Yeah, but anyhow, about 6 years, and those tiny holes, I've still kept my bag dry enough, especially if it's not torrential downpour. Everything's generally dry when we get to where we're going. So with the bag condensed into its smallest form, when you put this on, you have all kinds of extra room. So when you put it on in the full expansion, it's much more snug, and you have to kind of struggle with it a little bit. Especially going over these side pockets, because it's expanded sideways, and then you have these pockets that stick out. It's not smoothed down. There's a drawstring. When you get it down around the base, don't forget to pull this tight, because it's still not going to cover the entire bottom of the bag, and water will still get kicked up from the road, and the bottom of your bag will still get wet. Not drenched, unless you're, driving through standing water and you're a flood, which you shouldn't ever do. But
if you get caught in it, that's different.
Well, of course, no, but I'm flood. Yeah. But
the key is, when you pull this thing over top of your bag, you are not going to have full coverage integrity on the bottom side bottom of the bag itself. On the bottom of the bag itself. So you want to make sure you're aware of that. But the point is that bag, that cover does a really good job. It's just Viking. The only thing I would suggest a takeaway, if anything at all, from this, maybe make the rain cover just a little bit bigger so that it can just as easily accommodate the bag when it's expanded, just like it is when it's condensed or collapsed.
You were saying that, and I was just thinking, why not make the rain cover expandable? Because if they make this bigger and you're putting it on the consolidated or condensed version of the bag, it's going to be flapping a lot more.
That's a good point.
So like if they make it
there's
expandable,
a zipper or something on it that can zip, like you can take have extra here that can be,
or on the seams that are already there anyway.
That can be zipped closed like that, but those are waterproof. Whatever, they can be zipped closed when you have it in a smaller version. It's just an idea, guys. It's not written in stone.
I have another idea too.
Go for it.
A strap like this. Just sew it on 2 parts, clip it together, pull it tight, so that it would, pull this in and it would be less flapping in the wind. Not why we're doing this review.
We're just saying that that's one thing to consider, Viking, because like she said, when the sides are expanded, it's extremely hard. And if a person is in the middle of the highway and they pull over and they're getting dumped on and they're trying to get their rain cover on really quick, you don't want them to think, damn it, I wish this thing could be cinched down faster or easier. You want them to be able to slide it down quick, cinch it up, and tie it down, secure it, and get back on the road.
Now, on the drawstring, you do have the little clasp that holds it. I don't know what that's called, but it will hold it tighter. Yeah, so still keeping my stuff dry, so I'm happy.
Yeah. So shall we take it out to the bike?
Of course. Okay.
So we're going to go now to, guys, we're going to take it out to the bike. I'm going to film her putting it on her sissy bar because she has a sissy bar with a passenger backrest. I do not. That's something I didn't mention at the beginning. I told them Viking Bags that I do not have a sissy bar and a passenger backrest on a sissy bar. I have a tour pack with a luggage rack. They sent me this regardless. It's okay. Not a big deal. The great thing is she does have it on her bike, like I just said, so we're going to test it on her bike. And then stick around because we've got some more information after that coming.
He's got some more information after that coming.
All right, guys, so here we are out in the garage. Kylie has the sissy bar, she has the sissy bar bag, and she's going to install it, as you can see beforehand, how big her deadgum passenger backrest is. She's going to explain what she has to do. This does not mean you're going to be doing the same thing. It just means this is how she's able to accommodate that passenger backrest and her sissy bar and her luggage rack into using the Viking bag.
So, okay. It's really simple. I'm on a lift, so if you see the bike move, don't freak out. It's not going anywhere. Like you mentioned, my passenger backrest is really, really big. I've never been able to just slip this on. That's what happens. I have to actually make it work. And it's fine. I'm moving. It goes on. So I want to show you, I'm slowing down here because I want to show you why that fraying was happening and I had to re-sew that part. And actually it didn't do it this time. You might do it right here though. And it actually clipped on the earlier video further down on the middle part of the backrest. So when I'm cinching it down, this piece was clipping on the back of the cushion.
That piece she was talking about.
So
that piece right there, that's why it was fraying. Because
and actually it was this piece in here, it was because it was on the Velcro that came off.
Right.
So it was clipping the backrest.
Used to taking the bag off and putting it back on and taking it off and putting it on.
For thousands and thousands of miles.
The sissy bar and the passenger backrest, guys.
Okay, so just be aware and make sure that when you're coming down, anywhere that it might get caught, then stick your fingers in there and just move the flap away. And then I think I'm all the way down. Yeah, I'm all the way down. I like to tug it as much as I can, get this as far down as I can, because what happens when you're riding is this will push in and this will push back, so that this comes up, and you see how this actually is kind of sagging that way already?
Right, not leaning back, but it doesn't mean it's going to go flying. It's just...
So this is what I do. I make sure that it's in this position, and I take a bungee cord or those straps that come with it that you can either hook on these or hook on these and then hook it to your luggage rack. But I will put... I actually want to demonstrate. Okay, so depending on the length of the bungee cord I'm using, I'll either go right here or up here. But what I will do, usually, is I will just tuck it through, pull these through, and then hook them on my luggage rack. And that helps it from going into that lean. So,
but the key on this also, a small takeaway from this, guys, is that you've got the D-ring here on the bag, right? And you've got other D-rings on the bag. And these are sturdy, like I said, like she said earlier, on her original bag, also Viking bags had that. And it went through thousands of miles in many states and countries.
And it's still going strong.
And it's still going strong.
It really is.
Absolutely.
So there you have it. Really, there's the only other thing that I have to deal with is that I have to wiggle it off because of the size of, everything comes off easier than it goes on. But when it's really heavy, that makes a big difference. You have to work harder on both ways, especially pulling it off actually, because you're lifting the weight upward. But yeah, it's really simple.
All right, guys, so you've seen her put it on the Sissy Bar. You've seen how she does it, her methodologies. Everybody's a little bit different other than the basic backbone of how you put a Sissy Bar bag on the Sissy Bar luggage rack. So now we're going to go inside and do final wrap up and some discussion, and I'll cover some other stuff for you as well. So guys, next she's going to collapse this down and we'll kind of do a wrap up, but I have some additional information coming after this piece here, so check it out. Hang on with me.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. So once you have this off, just make sure these are all put down, and then just stand it inside.
And she didn't really mention this earlier, but she may have, I don't recall, but the key on it, this is what she's describing here is her method of how she packs the bag up when we're not going anywhere, no plans of a road trip of any kind, or not planning to use this anytime soon. So this is her storage method. You do you, boo.
This is how it came in the box too.
Yep.
Just consider that when you're doing it this way, you won't be able to put your rain cover in this pocket that is designated for the rain cover, because that case is that tall. Also realize that when you have the rain cover in there and you have that case on top, you can't open this unless it's like already halfway open, because it's just like these zippers, it's going to be covered by that bag.
Right.
Okay, and it will take up space. Just the whole reason why we can't have it in there right now is because it takes up too much room for that bag to be able to fit. So this will take room away from what you're packing in there, but you can pack so much in here, it doesn't really matter. So
Viking, one point on this, not a huge deal breaker. Again, this is just a design recommendation. Obviously on the previous bag that she's had 6 years, it was the same way.
Yeah.
But maybe consider moving and relocating this bag, this pouch for the rain cover to the side as another pocket, because that way riders, when they're on the road, don't have to be inconvenienced if they have that roll pack on top. Mm-hmm. It's not going to get in the way of this. It's right here. They can jump off, pull it out of a side pocket, and throw the thing on and be done. Just, again, that's a recommendation.
Access.
Easier access, easier application. So, all right, so the next piece that we're going to do here, y'all, is this is not the only version or version of a Sissybar bag that we have. And I wanted to show you other ones, and we're not going to do a equipment and quality like a breakdown comparison of other bags like we did to this one, but we're going to show them to you side by side for the purposes of prices. Okay, so let's get them.
Just like we had it before.
Yep. So we also have a Kurakin one, and we have a Saddleman one. Again, not going to go into one brand versus the other because they all basically have the same material as far as designs. Kurakin does the same thing with their hand grip, which is good for them. Saddleman does the elasticity band I was talking about.
That have lost their elasticity.
To hold the stretch, and they've lost some elasticity over the years. Saddleman's has access from the side. You zip it from the bottom or top. Their zippers aren't as good. This is an old bag too. All three of these bags are years old.
And
but Saddleman's has side access, right? Not the main pocket front. Top zip access.
This
Kurakin has all three, but we're not going to.
Yeah,
both like I said, we're not going to get into all that. The point is, these are all three Sissybar mounted bags. You can, you can mount these on a tour pack if you want to. If you have a luggage rack, again, previous video, I would lay these down. This one I could lay down long ways. This one I could lay down on the rack. I wouldn't do that with the Kurakin because it's kind of a cube, right? So all I'm doing with this is adding height to the bike, and with the weight that would be in this, I'm changing its center of gravity, which affects your steering and slow speed movements. So the key on this, like I said, I wanted to point out is, given the fact that these two bags are at least 6-7 years old, maybe even longer, maybe a decade more, whatever. We've had these for years.
Well over a decade now.
Yeah, I might even
that was your first one.
So yeah, we bought this actually in Sturgis, I think, didn't we?
I think we bought it to go to Sturgis in 2010.
Yeah, in 2010. So like I said, this is old, okay, and it attests to, it's a testimony to the quality and the product of these bags. Okay, the key on this, again, as I said, is price. Okay, Saddleman, this is the price, and I'm going to try and find the most current equivalent of this one, of all of these. But this is the price for the Saddleman. This is the price for the Kurakin. Okay, and I will have found the price for this one on the website. You can go look it up as well. And I'll tell you all this: I didn't say at the beginning, but I did. I said at the beginning of the previous video, the previous attempt. Viking Bag's website, guys, is very, in my opinion, very user friendly. You can pick the bike that you have, and it actually breaks it down, the products that they have designed for your bike. That's really intuitive, in my opinion. You can pick it from the bike type you have. You can just look generally for any types of Sissybars or tool kit bags like that go on the front of your triple fork. There's tons of options. Okay, I showed you a short clip from the phone on the ad I did there, on the previous ad there, and I'm showing you that you're seeing it on the website as well. So I will find this bag on there for the price, so you can compare all three from Saddleman, Kurakin, and from Viking Bags. And of course, there's other brands out there as well, but I can't attest to any of these. Like I said, the brands, the materials they're made of are solid. They're sound. Decades of use and durability. So, we missed anything that we covered last time?
Well, no, I just wanted to add, and no, I think we did cover it last time, is really the difference is just a matter of preference.
Yes.
Like that one opens from the sides, you'll slide things in and out of it. This one opens from the top, which I really love because you can see pretty much everything that's in the bag at the same time, except for what's at the bottom. But this one, you really can see everything in the bag because you can open both sides. So this opens upward, this opens that way. So it's kind of strange to me because it is so firm that you can't just flap it over. it has to be laying down for this to stay open. But it does open on all 3 sides, the front and both sides, and it's really just a matter of preference. But I do love this bag. I've been using it for years, and it's been great for me.
Yeah, it has. I've watched it. I've seen it. Saddleman also has the backpack straps you can add on. Okay, I just noticed they have a very different hook.
But they also swivel.
You see how they're very unique, and but they also have the bar system, which the bars aren't in here, but it doesn't matter. They also have the bar adjustment system, whereas Kurakin's has a Velcro system, where this is just a huge couple of Velcro.
It looks like a girdle.
It's basically something like a girdle or something, or big old arms to Velcro wrap your Sissybar, and that's cool too. So.
Yeah, it is, and the Velcro is really strong. So.
But
and you don't have to worry about that coming apart. But
yeah, so that's really it, guys. Like I said, the biggest piece of all that I wanted to point out is thank you, Viking Bags, for sending this.
Yeah.
This is the review on their bag. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you found it informative. The prices are the key factor, the takeaways that I would say. Aside from that, it depends upon each person's preference of what they like or what they see in a bag. Like Kylie said, as far as your traveling and what your habits are, and if you like a lot of pockets, whatever. So, aside from that, I hope this was enjoyable. I hope it was educational. You all make your picks, enjoy, stay safe, ride safe, stay healthy, and God bless you all. Thank you so much for watching.
bye.